Hello, humans. I am sick today. I've come down with a little bit of a cough and kind of a lung thing. It kind of caught me off guard, these symptoms. When I look back on my week, I realized that I was a little bit mucusy. Sorry for the details, but there was like something processing in my system, but I wasn't so aware of it. And then it just kind of hit me. And I tend to kind of blame myself, like, why wasn't I aware? Why didn't I see it? Why didn't I slow down and see what was underneath? But, that's the subconscious and we don't see it. And sometimes it takes something physical like that, like a physical pain and symptoms, to actually show us what's going on under the hood. And so that's the process that we're in. And it's perfect. It's a great system that God created for us. If we were never sick, we wouldn't know where to course correct. We wouldn't know, when to slow down, when to choose a different way. And we wouldn't know really what's going on internally, because I don't think most people really stop and like want to look at it or even have the tools, like, or even think it's important. So if you're familiar with the emotion code or with other systems, maybe Louise Hay and her affirmations, the lungs carry a lot of sadness and grief and longing, and a cough might be something related to needing to be heard and trying to get somebody's attention through coughing. So I was just looking at that this morning. Where in my life was I and do I need to be heard, or I feel like I'm not being heard? And where am I holding some grief, some sadness? And yeah, for sure, there's that, so I'm just kind of sitting with those darker elements, with those heavier elements today through the sickness. And it's like when we just try to numb out and we're sick and we just try to take a pill to alleviate the symptoms, which fair enough, sometimes people might be in a lot of pain, or they just need to get through the day, they just need to go to work or whatever it is, right? If you have the luxury and really it's not just luxury, but if we're just able to choose ourselves in that moment and try to make the schedule work and say, no, I'm going to take a day off, I'm going to rest. So we can, how do we use that in the most productive way to rest and productivity, but in a way that we actually mine the gold and mine, like, what are we supposed to get out of this? What is the purpose of me getting sick right now, other than just, it's like we can blame other people, we can blame the weather, we can, but ultimately it's for our benefit. There's some kind of process going on. So the pain is often carrying some kind of message, and it's almost a portal into our emotions that normally we don't even have access to. So it's like, say thank you, pain, for granting me access to some deeper parts of myself, because ultimately the universe loves balance in every way. In physics, an equal like a push gets a equal pushback, right? What is that called? The reaction, whatever. Okay. Not a physics person over here. So yeah, there's a coming back into balance with the pendulum swing. We could see that very clearly in our Sefirot system. You see there's like a central column and then these energies on both sides. So for instance, if we take the energy of Chesed, which is loving kindness, and on the other side is Gevura, which is like discipline and strictness. So they're both kind of extremes on their own. And so what balances it out is Tiferet, which is beauty and harmony, literally that balance between judgment and love and kindness, which is, kind of the ultimate truth. And we want to get to a place of the middle path. We want to go beyond the binary of, no, this is right or this is right. Like, there's always more options for us to kind of figure out and balance in ourselves. Like, for instance, masculine, feminine. There's a middle way. There's also, integrating both and living like that. We don't have to just identify with, oh, I'm only in my masculine energy, I'm only in my feminine, because that's where imbalances come in. And that's where ultimately illness comes in. And also, like, if we're neglecting something, if we're numbing out to something, that's also kind of an extreme. So what's on the other side of that is pain, is feeling. So that's again where illness might come in to kind of tip the scale and balance out where we've been numbing, right? So the universe loves balance, and we could see this in religious institutions, for instance. Certain religious groups, the principles are based more on love and overflowing and empathy, which is great. But again, it needs the other side to balance out and to have actual harmony. And then there are other religious institutions or religious groups that practice more of the gravura and strictness and hardline. And what do they need? They need that balance of more loving, kindness, empathy. We see this politically, on the right and the left, and there's extreme factions on either side that either practice like extreme empathy where it's like kind of becomes toxic, like he could be empathetic and give a child endless candy, but ultimately that's not good for him. So we see that, and it's almost like, well, those two sides actually need each other to come into balance, because if you only have the extreme of one side and that's it, then there's going to be chaos. And so the other side actually balances each other out. So it's kind of like, hey, say thank you. We could say thank you to the whatever other side that we don't agree with. Like, thank you for balancing out, this side and not causing chaos in the world. I'm seeing that this, little time to rest and recover in this illness is actually a blessing, because I do get to sit with those parts of myself that maybe I've been neglecting, that I haven't, I don't really want to interact with on a daily basis. So anyway, I could go on and on and on. But thank you, this sickness, thank you, illness, for kind of tuning me back into deeper aspects of myself that I have been neglecting.